It began with a 2001 Pentagon audit, revealing $2.3 trillion in unaccounted spending, more than the entire annual federal tax revenue at the time. Investigators found no receipts, no project names, and no clear recipients. Government auditors testified before Congress that they were barred from tracing the funds. Taxpayer money collected openly was vanishing into classified accounts. This wasn't an accounting error. It was a system designed to move vast sums beyond public view. Deep research into congressional records uncovered the term. Black budget funding allocated for programs exempt from standard oversight. Declassified reports confirm roughly 10 to 15% of total U.S. tax revenue flows here annually. In other nations, similar structures exist under labels like special accounts or service contingencies. Unlike public spending, these funds require no detailed justification. Taxes are collected publicly, but a large portion is spent in total secrecy. Following the 1947 National Security Act, investigations reveal Congress created a hidden financing mechanism. Tax money was routed through the Department of Defense budget, then transferred to intelligence agencies without paper trails. Early CIA budgets were buried inside military construction or supply line items. Official histories confirm this was done deliberately, to ensure taxpayers funded operations they were never meant to know existed. Senator Frank Church's 1976 committee blew the lid off. Hearings proved tax dollars funded illegal domestic surveillance, assassination plots, and coups abroad. Witnesses confirmed funds were laundered through government contractors and shell companies to hide the source. The committee concluded, taxpayers have been made unwitting financiers of activities they would universally condemn, even after exposure. The system was reformed, but never dismantled. Investigations show billions flow to private companies through classified contracts. These firms, often run by former intelligence or military leaders, receive taxpayer funds but face zero public audit. A 2023 probe found over 4,000 active secret contracts worth more than $500 billion annually. These cover research, operations, and logistics. The money leaves the Treasury, but where it goes and what it produces remains entirely hidden. Journalistic investigations in the 1980s and 1990s uncovered a darker layer. Tax funds were often used to seed operations that later generated their own cash, including drug trafficking and arms sales. Official records confirmed these off-budget activities were designed to make secret programs self-sustaining, reducing the need for congressional approval. Taxpayers initially funded the infrastructure, while profits from illegal acts kept programs running indefinitely. Declassified documents revealed tax money has funded decades of advanced research, stealth technology, surveillance tools, weather modification experiments, and aerospace projects. Investigators found that breakthroughs later sold commercially were developed secretly at public expense. Companies profited, while taxpayers never received returns or even knew their money was used. Many modern technologies trace back to programs hidden inside defense budgets. Cross-border investigations prove foreign aid is frequently a front. Funds marked for humanitarian projects are diverted to intelligence operations, political influence campaigns, or military support. Leaked cables show billions sent as economic assistance were used to fund secret armies, paramilitary groups, or influence elections abroad. Taxpayers believed they were helping other nations. In reality, they funded geopolitical control. Today, the U.S. intelligence community publicly admits its top-line budget. But investigators found this is only a fraction. The official number is a placeholder. The real total is buried inside the Departments of Energy, State, Homeland Security, and Treasury. A 2020 study estimated true secret intelligence spending is triple the declared amount. Money collected from income tax is dispersed across dozens of agencies to mask its true purpose. While governments claim they are broke or raising taxes to pay for healthcare or education, audits show massive surpluses are routinely diverted. Investigations found surplus tax revenue collected above projections is automatically transferred to classified accounts without legislative debate. Money denied to public services is freely available for hidden programs. The austerity narrative applies only to visible spending. For over 30 years, the U.S. Department of Defense has failed every single independent audit. Investigators found they cannot account for over 60% of their assets or spending. Internal memos show accounting systems are deliberately fragmented and incompatible. Officials admit this makes tracking impossible. Taxpayers contribute trillions annually. Yet the largest government department operates like a private entity with no financial transparency. Investigations into offshore records revealed governments operate their own networks of shell companies and bank accounts. Tax money is routed through these jurisdictions to fund operations untraceable to the state. Leaked documents show the UK, US, and others use tax havens not just to hide wealth, but to move funds for intelligence and military work. The same systems used by criminals are used by governments to hide spending from their own people. Declassified files confirm nuclear weapons programs were funded secretly from the start. In the U.S., the Manhattan Project budget was hidden inside public works and energy bills. Today, trillions have been spent maintaining and modernizing arsenals, much of it never approved or debated publicly. Investigations found even congressmen on oversight committees were denied full details. Taxpayers funded the most destructive weapons ever made without consent or knowledge. The Snowden leaks confirmed massive surveillance programs. PRISM, X-Corp, and others were built and run with taxpayer money. Budget documents show billions were allocated under vague labels like information technology, modernization, or cyber defense. Investigations proved these systems monitor citizens globally, despite laws prohibiting domestic spying. The public paid for the tools used to watch them, all hidden inside standard IT budgets. Research shows secret spending creates a parallel economy. Entire industries, defense, aerospace, cyber, private military exist almost entirely on classified contracts. Billions cycle between government and corporations, never appearing in economic reports. Investigators note this creates a powerful lobby dedicated to keeping secrets. Companies profit massively from hidden funds and use influence to block transparency reforms. Investigations reveal only a handful of lawmakers have full access to secret budgets, and they are forbidden from discussing details with colleagues or the public. Staff are barred from viewing records. Reports show even authorized members receive summaries, not line-item accounts. Oversight is designed to be superficial. The people's representatives cannot truly audit where the people's money goes. Major conflicts from Vietnam to Iraq, and countless smaller interventions were funded partially or entirely through emergency supplemental bills or hidden accounts. Investigations found war costs were deliberately understated or classified to avoid public opposition. Taxpayers bore the cost for years before the true price was known. Wars could be started and sustained by diverting funds meant for other purposes. National emergency funds meant for disasters or crises are repeatedly diverted. Investigations show money allocated for hurricanes, pandemics, or earthquakes is shifted to defense or intelligence projects. During the COVID-19 crisis, audits found billions in relief funds moved to classified programs. The emergency label acts as a blank check. Once money is labeled urgent, oversight drops and transfers become easy. Investigations into the 2008 crisis revealed the Federal Reserve secretly lent $16 trillion globally funds created or moved without congressional approval or public awareness. While not direct tax, this money represented public liability. Documents show central banks act as conduits, moving funds between treasuries and secret programs. They operate outside elected control, acting as the banker for hidden state activities. Official records confirm most covert action funding comes directly from tax revenue. Programs to train foreign forces are malicious, or influence politics are buried under military assistance or security cooperation. Investigators tracked funds that ended up with groups later, labeled terrorists or involved in war crimes. Taxpayers unknowingly funded groups that later attacked civilians or even their own nations. The Department of Energy manages nuclear weapons and massive research budgets most classified. Investigations found they receive over $30 billion annually in hidden funds, officially described only as national security activities. This includes advanced weapons, energy systems, and speculative tech. Taxpayers fund research into technologies never announced, many of which remain classified for 50 years. Auditors report billions in waste or loss annually. But deep investigations suggest much of this is intentional. Funds marked as lost or wasted are simply transferred to secret accounts. Officials admit it is easier to write off money than to classify every transaction. The waste line item is a budgetary Tula legal way to move taxpayer money out of visible accounts and into the shadows. NASA's budget is public, but investigations reveal a parallel space program run by the military and intelligence agencies. Funds are hidden inside Air Force and NRO budgets. Declassified documents show secret launches, classified satellites, and research into advanced propulsion systems are funded annually. The public sees rockets and science. Minded taxes fund military dominance of space. This is not unique to one country. Investigations in the UK, France, Russia, China, and others reveal identical systems. Every major nation operates classified budgets. In many cases, the percentage of secret spending is far higher, up to 30% in some nations. Across the globe, trillions in tax revenue is collected legally and spent secretly, with no international oversight or accountability. Every time an insider reveals how funds are diverted, they face retaliation. Investigations document dozens of cases where auditors, accountants, or officials were fired, prosecuted, or blacklisted for exposing hidden spending. Laws that supposedly protect whistleblowers exclude those working on classified programs. The system protects itself by punishing anyone who tries to follow the money. Tax money funds economic warfare, sanctions enforcement, currency manipulation, asset seizures, and financial intelligence. Investigations show these activities cost billions annually, but are never detailed. They are justified as national security, yet they impact global markets, trade, and ordinary citizens. The economic policies affecting your savings and prices may be funded by your taxes, decided and executed in total secrecy. Nations share costs of secret programs. Investigations reveal the Five Eyes Alliance and similar groups pool tax revenue from multiple countries to fund joint operations, research, and surveillance. Funds are transferred between treasuries via classified agreements. No single parliament approves the total, and no public audit covers the whole. Taxpayers in 5 nations unknowingly fund a shared global intelligence machine. Independent economists calculated the cost. Secret programs are far less efficient, more expensive, and prone to corruption. Without competition or oversight, costs inflate. Investigations found classified contracts cost 2 to 3 times more than open bids. Taxpayers pay a premium simply to keep the work hidden. Secrecy itself is an expensive service paid for from public funds. Many products we use today, GPs, internet, drones, night vision, began as black projects funded by taxes. While useful, investigations prove they were developed for military purposes first. Companies later commercialized them, keeping profits while taxpayers absorbed all risk and cost. The public paid for research, and private entities reaped rewards, another hidden transfer of wealth. How is this legal? Investigations found laws are written specifically to permit it. The necessary national security clause, Classified information exemptions and contingency rules are built into every finance law. Legislators deliberately included these powers. The system is not illegal. It is legally structured to hide spending. Taxation and secrecy are written into law together. Internal government documents admit public ignorance is essential. If citizens knew how much tax money went to secret wars, surveillance, or unaccounted projects, trust would collapse. Investigations found agencies actively work to suppress information, classify documents indefinitely, and deny FOIA requests. Keeping you unaware is a core part of the program, funded ironically by your taxes. Without oversight, corruption thrives. Investigations found bribery, kickbacks, and fraud are rampant in classified contracting. Billions disappear into personal accounts or phantom projects. Since exposing it means revealing secrets, crimes are rarely prosecuted. The hidden budget is the perfect environment for graft taxpayer money stolen with impunity, protected by national security laws. From the 1940s to today, the pattern remains identical. Collect taxes openly, route funds through broad department budgets, transfer to classified accounts, spend without audit, classify all records, and block oversight. Investigations confirm this is not a temporary measure. It's a permanent, institutionalized system. Every generation pays taxes that fund programs they will never read about in history books. Audits, declassified files, whistleblower testimonies, court records, and budget analyses all point to one conclusion. A significant portion of every tax dollar you pay goes to programs, operations, and entities you are not allowed to know exist. The amount is in the trillions globally. It is legal, systemic, and deeply embedded. Taxes do not just fund roads and schools. They are the primary fuel for a vast hidden state. After years of investigation, the answer is undeniable. Yes, taxes fund secret programs on a scale larger than most public services combined. The system was built, refined, and maintained to ensure that while you pay, you never decide. The money is real, the spending is massive, and the secrecy is absolute. The question now is, what kind of world are you paying for, and who really controls it?